Hello everyone. Welcome back to my channel. I'm glad to have you here once again. This is another episode of the Study Abroad project coming from Jesse Travel Series. Of course, my name is Jesse, and if you've been following me for some time now, I've been creating videos for prospective applicants, especially in Africa who wants to study abroad. So I'm grateful to have you here one more time. Yeah, Today I'll be taking my time to walk you through some important aspect of the Swedish Institute scholarship. Yes, if earlier this week I took time to create a video on the motivation statement that is required by Swedish Institute scholarship. If you intend to apply for the Swedish Institute scholarship this year, don't forget that you'll be required to write a statement of motivation or motivation statement on the portal. So I created a video and posted on my YouTube channel. So I think you may want to check that out, view that video, digest the content, and try to align try to take away some insights from it. And I believe it will be helpful in drafting your own motivation letter. I'm not a consultant, I'm not an agent. I'm just sharing my opinion, my knowledge and experience. Having gone through the process and succeeded, I deem it fit that I should share my knowledge with whoever wants to apply for this scholarship. Mind you, it is really competitive. So you need some form of guidance. So I decided to do that. So you can check out that video. You find it on my YouTube channel, motivation letter that got me the SI scholarship. You can, I put all details out there. You can follow and draft yours as well. Yeah, that being said, let's not waste time. Today, we are going to look at the work experience form and leadership experience form that you need to fill as an applicant for the Swedish Institute Scholarship 2025, or in short, the SI Scholarship 2025. This is also a very important aspect of the scholarship application process, because don't forget that this scholarship is meant for professionals. Then that reminds us the name of the scholarship again: Swedish Institute Scholarship for Global Professionals. So it's meant for professionals. So as a professional, you should be able to show proof of some work experience and leadership experience, which is key. Okay, you cannot go through this process and win the scholarship without articulating your leadership experience and work experience within the previous 4 to 3 years or 1 year. So it's very important that I walk you through this video or this process. I'm going to take my time to read the questions, the instructions, and how to approach it. Okay, I'll take my time, maybe fill the form briefly with you, or show you how to fill the form so that you can be successful in the process. Yeah, are you in for this? Thank you for staying with me. I'll turn to the screen where I can project the template for all of us to see. We can read the instructions, the questions, and the various sections you need to fill, or whoever your referee is going to fill, your manager, your boss, your HR, your supervisor, and how they should approach it so that you don't do mistakes. Any little mistake or error that you commit in filling this form will cause your denial or rejection outrightly. So bear that in mind. Yeah, if you're in for this, then let's go to the screen and then we'll come back to wrap it up. Thank you so much for staying. Yes, guys. So thank you for staying with me up to this point. So like I said, we are diving into the screen sharing, and we are going to look into this document together. So this is a proof of work and leadership experience. proof of work and leadership experience. And it says instructions. So you can see instructions here. Sorry. Yeah. Okay. We are back to the first page. Okay. So we are going to read through this, and I'm going to take my time to explain it to you for you to better understand the requirements, the instructions before you approach it. Okay. It's really important. Yeah. So say enclosure to the application for Swedish Institute scholarships for global professionals for master's level studies in Sweden starting in the academic year 2025-2026. And it says proof of work and leadership experience instructions, how to fill the form. Okay. Really, really important. How to fill the form. You should take note of that. So I'm going to keeps disappearing. Yeah, I hope we are good. Yeah, so I'm reading here. You need to follow up with me. You need to follow as I read so that you can better understand and you know where I am. So I'm on the first paragraph. The template consists of two parts, a work experience form and a leadership experience form. You can submit up to 3 work experience forms to verify up to 3 different work experiences. Sorry. Take some water. Yes. You can submit up to 2 leadership experience forms to verify up to 2 different leadership experiences. Yeah. So let's remain here for just a second. So it means that you can submit up to 3 work experience forms to be verified in different work experiences. So let's say if you've worked in the past 2, 3, 5 years, you've worked for 3 organizations and companies, and you intend to submit references from all these 3 companies or organizations, you are free to do that. Okay, but you should be able to show proof of that by verification or verifying this organization is true, endorsements, signature of the manager or HR, or like traditional stamps of the company. Do you understand? Then you can also submit up to 2 leadership experience forms to verify up to 2 different leadership roles. Okay, so in these 3 organizations that maybe you want to submit references from, you can choose 2 among these 3 to offer you or to provide you leadership experience references. Do you understand? So organization 1, 2, 3 will give you references. Among these 3, you can choose 2 of them to provide you 2. Yeah, you can choose 2 of these organizations to also provide you leadership experience forms, okay, or references, in a sense that it should be that you've worked as maybe a supervisor in 2 of the organizations. So as a supervisor, it's a form of leadership position. So you can go to the same organization to give you work experience form and also leadership experience form because you were a supervisor while working for them or while still working for them. Okay. Yeah, that's for paragraph 1. Let's go to the next paragraph. You must request current and previous supervisors, managers, HR head of the organization to validate your experience in the work experience form. Okay, so they've been specific with some positions and category of people or positions who can give you who can validate your form or endorse your form. Do you understand? In the sense of putting their signatures, their name, and traditional stamp. So it could be your supervisor at work or in your department, in your organization, or in your previous organization. It could be your manager. It could be the HR head. Okay. human resource head. So any of these can or is eligible to validate your forms. Yeah, let's continue. Please only include the most relevant experience you have had within the field of your expertise and studies. The work experience information you provide should correspond to the experience you have listed in your CV. Very, very, very important. If you are watching me, please take note of this. Do not, make an error over here. So, yes. So it said, please only include the most relevant experiences. So maybe you've worked for 5 organizations in the past 10 years, in the past 7 years, but which of these do you think are much, much more relevant or most relevant to this application? Okay, don't forget you are tailoring, you are matching and aligning all references and recommendations to this application, purposely for this application. So it is your responsibility to sit down and assess all the organizations, which of them really aligns with what I'm going to study, really aligns or has some correlation and relationship with, or partly, or maybe has some relationship or correlation or aligns with what I'm going to study or my expertise and my background. Okay, so you have to look within which of them carries weight in terms of reference. When you present references from them, it carries weight and will give you a chance. Do you understand? That's what it means. So you have to sit down and look through that. And then don't forget that, don't also forget about the fact that your, whatever experience you provide or the work experiences, the leadership experiences you are going to provide must correlate, must correspond, must be in line with whatever you captured or you have captured on your CV. So for instance, if you, on your CV, you said you've worked for maybe Ministry of Finance, and then your reference that comes from, your leadership or work experience forms comes from Ministry of Tourism. It does not make sense. Do you understand? So it has to be in line. So if you said you work for Ministry of Finance, if you said you work for Ministry of Tourism, these two, make sure the references that you provide comes from these organizations or these institutions. Do you understand? Yeah. I hope that is clear. Let's move forward. In the leadership experience form, I think I'm reading the 3rd paragraph right now. In the leadership experience form, please specify the hours of work experience that included leadership roles. For instance, if you have worked or if you worked a total of 3,000 hours at a company, 2,000 hours as an administrator, and 1,000 hours as the head of your unit, then you should provide proof of both the 2,000 hours as an administrator and 1,000 hours as head of unit in the work experience form. In the leadership experience form, include only 1,000 hours as head of unit. Okay, now let me break it down. This is what it means. And it's also technical here because a lot of questions came up that I needed to explain to applicants. Okay, so let's say you worked in the Ministry of Finance as an administrator. Yes, you work in the Ministry of Finance as an administrator for 4 years. For 4 years, and then your leadership experience has coupled up or accumulated to be about, let's say, 5,000 hours in all. Working for Ministry of Finance as administrator, you've gathered 3,000 or 5,000 hours work experience. Okay, but after being employed as an administrator, 1 or 2 years on or after, you've been promoted to be the head of HR. Okay, so first of all, you enter the organization as administrator, and then 2 years on, you've been promoted to become a head of HR. So in this case, let's assume that working for the company as an administrator, you work for maybe 5,000 hours, okay? And 2 years after, assuming your new position as head of HR, the leadership experience hours cannot be the same as the time you work as an administrator. So we can assume, but in your case, don't assume. For the sake of time, I'm just trying to give you an example. So you just have to be technical, be realistic, sit down, put pen and paper. So maybe you've worked for as the head of HR for 2 years, for the past 2 years. So you say, okay, after doing my calculation, being a leader or working as a leader, which in the position of HR head, I've accumulated about 2,000 hours. Okay, so in the leadership experience form, you have to capture 2,000 hours, but in the work experience form, it has to be 5,000 hours. Do you understand? That is what it means. Okay, that is what it means. So don't be confused. It's just simple, but if you don't understand the technicalities here, you may end up doing an error that will cost you, right? Okay, let's move on. The next paragraph says the leadership experience involves the experience of leading other employees in a team. Do you get it? The leadership experience involves an experience of leading other employees in a team. Please take note of this. They don't want stories. They don't want history. They don't want you to come and write too much grammar. Just state in the leadership experience form what position you held that give you the opportunity to lead a team, lead some personnel, lead staff, instruct people, delegate tasks, delegate responsibility, monitor people, give feedback to maybe your boss. I mean, that is what they're looking for. Don't go giving grammar. And yeah, then I'll show you how to handle that aspect. Okay, so yeah, like it says, leadership experience involves the experience of leading other employees in a team or department unit with a mandate to influence the development strategy for the organization you work at, to allocate tasks and familiarity with decision-making processes. So in the leadership experience form, make sure that this position you held or you are providing and the responsibility or the duties that you capture there has to do with something that give you the opportunity to be involved in one way or the other decision-making processes, contributing development, the strategy development of the organization, really, which is really, really important for this application. Okay, then who can fill the form for you? If you work in a family, if you work in a family business, if you are the owner of a business, or if you do freelance work, we can accept a signature from a client or a staff who works at your company, but who is not your family member. Okay, so if you have your own company, you have your own SME business that you run, which in some cases could be because not everyone who applies for this program works for somebody, works for an organization. Some are self-employed and CEOs of the organizations. So you need, in your case, you need to get a client to endorse the forms for you. A client shouldn't be an individual. Like, let's say you are a distributor of commodities, let's say sugar and stuff you sell to people or organizations. So don't go and get the reference from maybe someone who comes as an individual to purchase from you, but
they are referring to, in this context, a client should be an organization, a company, a setup, a business. Yeah. So let's say you sell sugar, you sell rice. So maybe a school that buys from you or procures or purchases from you could be a client, or a company that buys from you could be a client. That's what they are looking for, not an individual. So clients should be companies, organizations, not a private individual, and are only allowed to certify the hours that you have worked for them. Okay, don't be confused with this. Take note of that. The stamp should be the official stamp of the company, organization. Okay, if you do freelance work, you may also ask an employee of the professional association or agency where you are registered as a freelancer. So if you are a freelancer, maybe in one way or the other, you are registered within an organization, an agency, an association, you go to them to endorse the forms for you, okay, with their traditional stamp. And then let's quickly move on here. You can ask the same person to sign both the work experience form and the leadership experience form, as well as write the letter of reference for you. So if you are getting you are a freelancer and you are getting your validation from an association, an agency that you are registered with, the person, that same organization or personality can give you both reference form and leadership experience form. Yeah, in that order, right? If your referee has changed job and is unable to represent your former and current employer or client's company, we recommend that you find another referee who still works at the referring organization and is able to certify your number of hours with the official stamp of the organization. I hope this is clear. So for example, who cannot sign the forms? Co-workers, family members, relatives, partners, friends, individuals who demand compensation, money, goods, favors, services, and other means from you to give you a statement of reference. So be very, very particular about this. Don't go and falsify documents. Don't go pay bribe to someone to endorse or validate your forms. Do not let a family member, relative, and partners validate your forms. Do you understand? It's a straightforward instruction. If you do or commit any of these, you know the consequences. Okay. Please ask your referees to fill out the appropriate information by typing and then print the form and sign by hand and put the official stamp of the referred organization at the end. It should then be scanned and converted into PDF format, right? So after your referee has finished filling the forms, it has to be printed out, okay? Take note of this. Let me emphasize on this. It has to be printed out. Then they have provided where your boss or the referee is going to state his or her name, contact number, I think email address, and put signature and stamp. Those sections are provided. Okay, so it has to be validated with a stamp, signature, and then the referee's information before you scan it into PDF. And don't forget, it must be in PDF before you submit. Do not forget this. Please take note of that. And I would advise that you can talk to your boss or whoever gives the reference. If they have corporate organizational email address, they should use that. That makes it more authentic. Okay, that's, yeah, solidifies your application because it's an organization's email. It could be his personal organization email, corporate, his or her personal corporate email. If the person, if the referee does not have a personal corporate email, you can use the main organization email. However, if they do not have any of these, you can go ahead to use Gmail or Yahoo, but the corporate and organizational email are preferred. Okay, yeah. Now, Requirement of submission: a proof of work and leadership experience form must be completed in English and cannot exceed 1 page per form or 5 pages in total. Yeah. So every form should be a page. It should not extend to the next page. So in this case, they're asking that you provide at most 3 work experience forms, and then at most 2 leadership experience forms. So they are not expecting more than 5 pages. If you provide more than 5 pages, the next page, maybe the 6th page, will be disregarded, and that might cost you. Maybe the 6th page is rather where your relevant information will be captured. So please take note. You must merge all the work experience forms and leadership experience forms into one PDF. Do you get it? So after validation, the work experience and leadership experience forms, which will all be about 5 pages, should be or must be scanned into PDF and then make it a one file. Okay, so you need to scan 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and give it a name or a title into one PDF document. Because of the way the form is built up to the section where your referee should put their stamp might end up on its own page, on the second page. This is not a problem. Any additional pages with information we haven't asked for in the form will be discarded. Any false, misleading, incomplete answer may result in the rejection of your application. If your employer does not have a stamp, we recommend that you provide a proof of your work experience from another organization. If you are not able to get a traditional stamp for your reference letter, you could explore the possibility to sign the document with a digital signature or stamp. However, please note that the traditional stamp is preferred. You understand? Traditional stamps are preferred. So somebody also asked me if they could use the company seal to validate the forms. And I told the person, per what I know, as I said, traditional stamps are preferred. So if you could get a stamp, that would be helpful. Okay, so traditional stamps are preferred. Take note of that. If it is only work experience that you have, we may accept an official stamp from a notary office. However, your referee still needs to fill in the template and sign it on behalf of the organization. The notary needs to certify in English that the information is in the form, is true and correct, and that the referee is authorized to represent the referring organization. The notary certificate should be merged with the form as one PDF document. So in any case, or in the case that you've tried your best to get a traditional stamp for your references, but you've not found one, you can use the notary body or notary organization through maybe a certified notary unit or commissioner to certify, validate your forms. But your boss or your manager at that organization still needs to fill the forms before you take it to the notary body for validation. Okay. To be valid, each of the forms must be dated, signed, and handed by the referee and stamped with the stamp of the referring organization or a notary office. The stamp can be in any language as long as it is the official stamp of the referring organization. Any other format of proof of work and leadership experience will be disregarded. Thank you. Take note of that. Authenticity. Yep, SI will carry out random checks on the applications and applicant to scrutinize any false or misleading information, including fabricated documentation. Should any false information be found, the applicant will be automatically disqualified and barred. And barred. So you will not just be disqualified, you'll be barred, you'll be barred or you'll be, blacklisted. Let me put, yeah, I think this better explains it. You'll be blacklisted, you'll be banned from applying for SI ever. You cannot apply for SI ever in your life. Yep. Then lastly, any false information discovered during the scholarship period will cause termination of the scholarship. So in a case that you've been awarded a scholarship and they later find out that you falsify documents, they can still disqualify. They can revoke and terminate the scholarship while studying in Sweden. So please take note of that. The scholarship holder will then have to refund the full scholarship amount to SI. Wow. Do you hear that? Interesting. So please don't commit anything that will lead to this, right? Now let's dive deep and let's be quick with this. So now this is the information, this is the real forms that you need to work on, right? The ones that we went through are all the instructions, which are really important. I took my time to read the instructions, the requirements, because this is where the magic all lies, right? This is where you find all the magic. If you end up jumping into filling the forms without understanding what they are looking for, you will be disqualified. So that's why I took my time to read the first, how many pages are they? The first 3 pages for you to better understand it. So now this is where the real form is. So the first 3 pages are just instructions and requirements, specifications. So when applying, you ignore the first 3 forms. So you just pick this one, which is the 4th page, the work experience form, and then the 5th page, the leadership experience form. So these 2 pages, you need to pick them. So if you are getting 2 leadership experience forms, then it means this form will be given to 2 referees to fill. You're getting 2 work experience forms. These particular forms should be sent to 2 referees to fill as well. So now, let's get into this. This is how the form is. Please don't do alterations, don't falsify, don't use. And very, very important one is that do not use any other software or application to fill the forms. Use Word, right? Take this advice from me. Use Word, Microsoft Word, to fill the forms, because the forms have been provided in Microsoft Word. Do not use any other software or application to fill it. I know the reason why I say this, so take it from me. Now, the heading here is that the forms must be completed in English. Additional pages will not be considered. Referees must sign and stamp the forms with the official organization stamp, then convert them into PDF format, right? Now, it's a maximum 1 page of form, maximum 3 forms for this particular work experience section. So here we have first name. So I'm going to help you fill this. Then I just want to help you, like an example of what you should take note of. First name of applicant as written in your passport. Do not provide information that are contrary to your passport. How your names are captured in your passport and on your degree certificate and transcripts, just provide them here as they are in those documents. Really, really important, because this is an instruction. If you disobey, you'll be disqualified. So in this case, first name as provided on your passport. So I'm saying Jesse, then surname, also as written on your passport, we can say Chapman. Then date of birth, okay, right? Follow this instruction. You see, in Sweden, That's how they provide their date, right? The year, the month, and then the day. So you just have to follow it as provided. I hope you can see what I do. So let's say 1950 dash that is the month 03, for instance, March, and then 23. So that's what you're supposed to do. Then citizenship of applicants. Yeah, so let's say Ghanaian or Ghana, anyhow you put it. Then full name of the company, organization where the applicant works. Yeah, so let's be quick with this. Maybe first Royal. So, example, First Royal Hotel. Yeah. Then title position of the applicant. Let's say supervisor. Yeah. Then where we are now, time period of employment. When did you start? And are you still working there? So let's say we started 2022, 0101. Yeah. Okay. And two, maybe still working there. Yeah. Then we go to type of work. Choose one item here. Type of work. So it's an employment, right? So you have to determine. But now we are dealing with work experience form. So it definitely has to be employment. Okay, work experience. But in your case, maybe it's an involvement in networks and civil organization, studies, volunteering, internship. It could be internship, student organization work. If the options or what you want to provide is not in these options, then you choose other and then type it there, right? But I'll go for employment here. Here, right? Then hours applicants work in total. So let's say 3,000 hours. Okay. Yeah, but let me put it 4,000 hours. Better still 5,000. Yep, hours. Now, then work experience tax of the applicants. Please, this is most important, right? So they are saying work specific tasks of the applicant, right? Don't go and be telling story. I mean, you are not the one going to fill the forms, but what our advice is that you should be involved in this process. Whoever your referee will be involved. I mean, be close to the person. Try to explain to the person what they are looking for. Okay. They shouldn't treat these references and recommendation as one of the usual recommendations that or official recommendations that you need to write, blah, 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 blah. This one, it's much more technical and they're looking for certain information. I mean, so you should know how to relate with whoever does this filling or this validation for you, for the person to better understand the criteria they will use in selecting scholars, so that the person can be able to or will be able to provide the reference that will be much more compelling and appealing, and that will also make or give you a chance. Okay, so in this case, I provided this one as an example. As a supervisor, he or she, I mean, Jesse, I use Jesse, so that's why I put he. So as a supervisor, he was responsible Yeah. He was, or he is. Yeah. I hope that is clear. Maybe in case you were working there, you don't work there anymore, or you are still working here. All right. So as a supervisor, he was or he is responsible for controlling and supervision of front desk operations, housekeeping, and room attendance. He was also responsible for addressing first-hand customer concerns and reported directly to me as the manager. So this is a clearly stated specific work task. Okay, so it shouldn't be it shouldn't be captured in a way that you don't even find these particular responsibilities that you undertake in that organization. So it should be straightforward to state what you do, what are your leadership, your work experience, your responsibilities, your duties as a supervisor. You do this, you supervise these people, this section, you supervise the front desk. I'm using front desk because I said you work in a hotel. You supervise the front desk, you control them, you delegate tasks. Okay, that is it, straightforward. So that's an example. Then we come to the referee, you put the person's name. For example, Ahmed Wali. Yeah, that's an example. And then position, we can say general manager. Yeah. Then email address. So if I would prefer if they have maybe a corporate organization, corporate email, so you can say example in a corporate email. Okay, so Ali, I don't know, maybe at first, yeah. So something like that, right? Then telephone number could be sorry, telephone number could be blah 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 blah. And here we come here, right? So signature and referee, date and place is and then city and country. So follow it as it is provided, all right? Signature of referee first. You can put comma, date and place, which means so signature can come here. Then you write Accra, Ghana, Kumasi, Ghana, Lagos, Nigeria, Abuja, Nigeria. Where else? Wherever you're coming from. Then in that category. Then you come here in this last section and put the stamp, right? Make sure the stamp is clear enough. If you put the first, if your boss gives you the stamp and it is not clear enough, please go back, reprint it, go back and get another stamp. All right. So that is for the work experience. Let me go back here. So just take note of how I captured this, an example of how to state your work specific task. Now we come to the leadership experience forms. Yeah, so the same way you put your name here, right? First name, Jesse, surname, not there, Chapman, and then year of birth, 1950, 0333, and then citizenship, Ghana or Ghanaian. Yeah. Full name of company, because I'm getting one reference or leadership experience reference from the same company. So I repeat the same name here, hotel. All right. And then the position held, supervisor. Right. Yeah. Then period held. Right. So let's do it this way. So let's say in the work experience form, you started as a receptionist, right? Receptionist. Sorry. Receptionist. And then yeah. Then after 1 or 2 years, you started as a receptionist in the work experience form in 2022, and then in 2023, you've been promoted to be a supervisor. Okay, so this one started from 2023, maybe April. That one, right? And then type of work here is employment and total of hours. So maybe 2,000, right? 2,000. Then we have to come back here. I hope you are following. You have to come back here and edit here because you held this program from a period to a period, at this position from a certain period to another period before getting or being promoted. So over here, you captured that you started this position 1st April 2023. So that should align with the information you put here. So when did you stop this one? So maybe 2023, March 31. I hope that makes sense. Yeah. But they are going to check all those things. So be sure of that. Then Amidu, Ali, the same person. Then you put the position there. General manager. Right. Email. Yeah, we can just do the same email. Is it gonna? I'm not sure you can copy and paste. I'm not sure. Let me try. Right. No. Yes, then telephone number. Make sure the plus comes. Yeah. In case they want to reach out, yeah, they can be able to reach out to the referee. Then the signature again, you sign first, comma, date, and place. So signature Abuja, Nigeria, signature Port Harcourt, Nigeria, signature Lagos, Nigeria, signature Accra, Ghana. Then you put your stamp here. All right, so this is how to fill the forms, and I hope that was helpful and it's going to guide you. Like I said, I'm not a consultant, I'm not an agent. I'm just trying to share my experience. I've gone through the same process and got an SI scholarship. So I know a lot of applicants struggle to do the right thing. So I'm just putting out this information for you to guide you. So don't go and repeat or don't just copy and paste. What I wrote here is just to give a clue on how to tackle this thing. So I look forward to seeing you in my next video. I'm going to create the video in a couple of days before even the open the portal for you to submit the application. So we are done. We are through with the work experience and leadership experience form. The next video will be on the references that will come from civil organizations, the NGO, and then yeah, in that regard. So you may also want to have a view and take a look of that one as well, and I'll notify you. Yeah, so if you're a subscriber, thank you for staying with me. I need you to comment under this video what you want me to work on, and I'll gladly do that. If you have any comments, you can ask me. If you want me to help you arrange your documents, you can put it in the comment section, and I'll be glad to help you do that. If you are new here, please subscribe to my channel. Hit on the notification bar, like the videos, and share with your colleagues. All right. Have a fruitful day wherever you are, and I'll see you again in my next video. Yes. Be safe wherever you are. All right. Yeah.